Why is the AC-130 known as the Angel of Death? This is one of the most heavily armed planes on the planet, designed to provide close air support for troops on the ground. The AC-130J Ghost Rider is normally outfitted with two massive guns. The first is a 30mm Bushmaster GAU-23 autocannon that can fire up to 200 rounds a minute, while the other is even bigger, a 105mm M102 howitzer that can fire 50-pound shells, up to 10 per minute, all with precision accuracy. And if giant guns weren't enough, it also has wing-mounted AGM-114 Hellfire air-to-surface missiles and GBU-39 small-diameter bombs, which have self-guidance systems built into them to make sure they hit their target every single time. Powered by 4 Rolls-Royce turboprop engines, these planes have top speeds of over 400 miles an hour and operating ranges of thousands of miles, meaning they can stay circling above the battlefield, providing air support for hours at a time. It's like having a fleet of flying tanks up above you, and all for less than $200 million a plane. Not a bad deal for an Angel of Death.
Shalom. All praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Hakwadash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. And salutations to the Akim pushing this word in all sincerity and honesty, the hopeful elect. Shalom. My name is Kara Allah, and Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. The title of this lesson is going to be The Angel of Death. And what you're looking at here is a AC-130, which is a gunship, and is also known as the Angel of Death. As you've seen in the intro of the video, which is basically what I grabbed from online and I put it together. So I learned about the AC-130 through a co-worker, and he was just telling me he would love to be inside of it. And I'm thinking that might be possible. Why? Because there is a draft coming to this place. Now, besides that, when you talk about in the scriptures, it speaks about the Satan and his angels. Now, that's actually going into a war in the heavens or in the skies, because when the Lord comes with those chariots, like it speaks about Michael, you're going to have America, NATO, the EU, and all these other nations that are going to take part in that World War III come and combine their forces to meet Yahweh Shai and the angels in the sky. Now, with that being said, allow me to go into the scriptures, and Lord willing, this is an edifying lesson. Revelation 12:7. And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, which Michael is going to fight alongside Yahweh Shai. But Yahweh Shai cracked those clouds. Michael's going to be there, and other angels are going to be there, and they're going to be operating chariots. And we know Yahweh Shai is going to have the fathership. And it says, fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. Now that dragon is interchangeable with the beast having 10 horns in the book of Daniel, the 7th chapter. All right. Now that beast having 10 horns is the Roman Empire, which basically America is a continuation of the Roman Empire. Why? Because America follows the customs of the Roman Empire. Okay. And then you have NATO and the EU, which would be the vassal states and whatnot. So it says, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought and his angels. And how is that going to happen? Because the war, when Yahweh Shai cracked the clouds, okay, because he is going to crack the clouds and fight against these different nations headed by America, and these different nations are going to fight Yahweh Shai or meet Yahweh Shai in the skies, okay, where Yahweh Shai is going to totally obliterate them. And prevailed not, neither was their place found anymore in heaven. Right. So when you see they have these jets and these fighter jets and these helicopters, and they're gonna have rocket launchers and spaceships that's gonna be shooting missiles and lasers and whatnot at Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai is just gonna look at you and he's gonna obliterate you. Okay, it's like, damn near smirk at you, because the Lord knows you trying your best, but there ain't no chance. Okay, so Esau is gonna be obliterated. Now he called this ship is called the Angel of Death. Now, as a matter of fact, you see this image right here where there's a reaper and then the reaper is shooting fire, right? Now, this is supposed to be symbolizing the angel of death, the AC-130. Okay, now that's the pride of this man, because the angel of death ultimately is Yahweh Shai, okay, or the Most High and Yahweh Shai. This is Psalm 68:20. He that is our power is the power of salvation, and unto the Most High, the Lord, belongeth the issue from death. The issues from death. Okay, and let's go into that word issues. It says Tawa Tazawat. Okay. Show Strong's info. Let's listen real quick.
Strong's H8444. Totsaoth. Totsaoth.
It says boundary or deliverance, source. All right. Outgoings. So you get that when you go into the Strong's, when you go into the Hebrew. He that is our power is the power of salvation, and unto the Most High, the Lord, belong the issues from death. Okay, so if you want to get technical, or not technical, because this is what it is, death, when you talk about death, ultimately comes from Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, now, if you want to call, if you say Esau is an angel of death, I gotta agree with that, because what does he bring to this world? He brings death. All right, he brings death and destruction. 2 and 3. It says, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but the end it shall speak. Right, the prophecies are for an appointed time, but the end it shall speak, meaning come to pass. So now we're seeing the prophecies of the dragon and his angels fighting Michael and his angels. Okay, I think World War II, they called it a dog fight. Now, this is gonna be, World War III. And it ain't gonna be no comparison, because the guns and the weapons Esau has no power over the spiritual weapons and the spiritual powers that these angels and these chariots, or these so-called UFOs, contain. So it says, and not lie, though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. The elector's going to wait. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Which Esau's soul is not upright in him. This is the reason he can't do any good. This is why we would say that he's an angel of death, which the word angel means messenger. Okay, and how do you bring death anyways? By breaking the law, statutes, and commandments, which Esau is not capable of following. Okay, so if he's in rulership, of course he's going to bring death. Habakkuk 2:5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, his philosophies or his democracy, all right, which he forces upon the people by way of his military. It says, transgressed by wine, he's a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, all right, as death, and is as death and cannot be satisfied, all right, because why? The graveyard is never empty, okay, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people, right? Just like the Romans did. When they conquered a nation, they wouldn't just put them in slavery, but they'll make them citizens, okay? So it's the same scenario here. This is Matthew 13:37. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man, Yahweh Shai, and the good seed being the nation of Israel. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, which that's the elect. All right. But the tares are the children of the wicked one, because you're going to have Edomites, which the wicked is Esau. All right. Now you're going to have Edomites that might seem like Israelites on the outside, or they might have a dark skin complexion. Because why? Because you might have Edomite men that lay down with Israelite women and may give babies to Edomites that have the genes of their mother's complexion. All right. But really, their spirit is nothing upright. They're the spirit of the wicked. And it says the field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, but the tares are the children of the wicked one. The enemy that sowed them is the devil, Esau the wicked. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. All right. The harvest is the end of the world. Right. The harvest or reaping season is the end of the world, which the word world here, we know it's eon. We'll go into it real quick. World G165.
Strong's G165. Ion.
And it says an age by extension. All right. So the Lord gave Esau a time to rule. Okay. The age of Esau's rulership. And now that age is at the end of that age. Okay. Like it says in Job, I believe the 4th chapter. Okay. His boundaries cannot pass. Okay. So we at the end of your age. And it says the enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the reapers are the angels. Okay, because when you reap, you have to separate the tares from the wheat. Okay, the tares will be considered non-desirables, and what do you do with that? You burn it. Okay, and how is it going to happen? By way of those chariots. When the angels come in those chariots and collect the elect, okay, and then the angels gonna be zapping Esau along with these heathens and these 2/3. They're gonna get zapped. You're gonna be getting destroyed, and then ultimately, when that fire is rained down on this place. Matthew 24:30. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, and then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. The tribes meaning the nations, the 12 tribes of Israel, right? Along with these nations too shall mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in his clouds of heaven with power and great glory. He's coming upon those chariots. Okay, a gigantic, enormous chariot, and it's going to be glorious along with the angels. And it says the tribes shall mourn, because the 12 tribes of Israel, the 2/3 are going to mourn because they know that they're not going to be delivered. Okay, and they're going to be ashamed in that day. Matthew 24:31. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Okay, so the elect is going to be gathered up throughout the four corners of the world. Okay, like how you gather wheat and corn in a time of harvest. Okay, but then 2/3 you're going to be destroyed along with the non-desirables. Okay, on this side. But here it is, the 1/3, men, women, child. As long as you of the elect, you're going to be gathered up into those chariots. This is Revelations 14:14. And the title of these verses is called The Reapers. And it says, and I looked, and behold, a white cloud. Which that white cloud is talking about a chariot. The Lord's coming back in a gigantic chariot. And upon the cloud, one sat like unto the Son of Man, Yahushai. And the white represents purity, having on his head a golden crown. All right, because the Lord's going to take over, and the Lord's rulership is going to be forever. Right, the kingdom on earth, and then Yahushua is going to divide the kingdom with the elect of Israel, or mainly, and then all of Israel when Israel is in the right mind. And in his hand a sharp sickle. Now we know what a sickle is, but let's just get the Strongs on it. Okay.
Strong's G 1407. Drepanan. Drepanan.
Says to pluck, a gathering hook, especially for harvesting, sickle. So we at the harvest season, okay, the end of the world. And Yahushua is going to have a sickle in his hand. Meaning what? He's going to gather up who? The elect. Verse 15. And another angel came out of the temple, crying with a loud voice to him that sat on the cloud, thrust in thy sickle and reap, for the time is to come for thee to reap, for the harvest of the earth is ripe. So when the elect is gathered, okay, and when you reap, you're destroying whatever is not necessary. All right, the undesirables. And he that, verse 16, and he that sat on the cloud thrust in his sickle on the earth, and the earth was reaped. So this is some images of a sickle. Just Google it, and you see the sickle. And then you see right here, there's the wheat. And the Lord has to gather the wheat from the tares. Ultimately, the wheat being the elect that's going to be gathered. All right. And that sickle's looking like an instrument of war. That's why the scriptures say the Lord's going to judge his place. He's going to plead with fire and with the sword. All right. Instruments of destruction. So the next time you see this image and you think of the Grim Reaper, you got to think of Yahushua, okay? A dark-skinned man with white woolly hair and beard, and is angry, and he's coming to bring vengeance, and he's coming on a gigantic chariot. 2 Ezra 13:1. And it came to pass after 7 days I dreamed a dream by night, which that dream is a prophetic vision. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. And that wind from the sea is going into Yahushua, returning and cracking the heavens, coming through the ozone layer or the outer atmosphere, along with the chariots of the Heavenly Father. So it says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. Right, because the outer space is known as waters, right? And then after that you have the ozone layer, and then you have the earth, which the earth, when you breathe it and whatnot, is really surrounded by water, but in the gas form. And then you also have liquid water. All right, real quick, this is 2 Peter 3 and 5. For this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, because the earth is divided from outer space by way of the ozone layer. Right, but it's outer space is still waters, and then the earth is still waters in a different form. Okay, so it's not just liquid water, but you also have it in gases. It says, I read it again, for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of the Most High the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water. Okay, so let's go back. 2 Ezra 13:2. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, and it moved all the waves thereof. The Lord coming through the ozone layer and the outer atmospheres. And beheld, and lo, the man waxed strong with thousands of heavens, those chariots, the angels. And you read about Michael and fighting on the side of Yahushua, on the side of Israel. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. And the things that tremble are the people, because the Lord basically going to come in to bring destruction during the time of World War III. And when these heathens, Esau, NATO, BRICS, the EU, whatever other nations get involved in this Third World War, when it's fought in the Middle East or the Persian Gulf, the Lord's going to intervene. And when they see that sight, all right, they're going to tremble, but they're still going to fight. Verse 4, and whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard the voice, like as earth faileth when it feeleth the fire. And that's going into that's going into the chariots of the Heavenly Father, and that concentrated fire, those laser beams. And these ain't gonna be in a small laser when it's like, a small ass laser. No, this is gonna be a gigantic chariot. It's gonna be a gigantic laser. Think about the movie Independence Day, the original one. All right, but things are gonna be way more spectacular, and it's gonna be something that you won't even be able to imagine. The destruction coming to this place. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men out of number from the four winds of the heaven, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. And those are the different nations. They're gonna see the kind of power they're dealing with, and they're gonna call upon these different nations to fight as one against the power of the Heavenly Father and the Son and those angels. And I beheld, and lo, he had graven himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. The reasons Ezra couldn't see the hill or mountain was because it was a chariot, all right, what is known today as a so-called UFO. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. There you go. Right, because the Lord's going to show his power. Now, we just saw the angel of death gunship and the capabilities. They also have different fighter jets and different equipment and weapons of war, laser beams. They just opened up the space branch for the military, and these are all to prepare themselves for war. With who? Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. So it says, and after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, because the Lord is not coming as a man. So the Lord's not coming as a man, but he's coming as a force. All right, and he's coming with glory and with strength, and he's coming to destroy in the spirit of vengeance. This is Isaiah 47:3. It says, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. And that's going into Esau, the so-called white man, and the wickedness he's done and the atrocities he's done, along with these other nations, even 2/3 of our people that follow in this man. It says, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance, and I will not meet thee as a man. The Lord's not coming as a man, all right, as a mortal. He's not coming with guns. He's not coming with something that's man-made or man could defend. All right, that's why you just read in the second Ezra, the Lord's not going to lift up a hand, So the Lord's coming with spiritual powers. And it's not gonna be something that Esau could withstand, even in the height of Esau's power. See, a man needs a shield and a sword and a gun and gadgets, right? And drones and things like this. This is a man's necessity. That's a man's war, right? You fighting with the Heavenly Father, and you fighting against spiritual powers. So when Esau comes at the Most High with his ships and his tanks and his bombs and lasers, right, and his sneak attacks, he might throw some sneak attacks in there, thinking that he's gonna cause any harm. The Lord's gonna look at like Esau like looking at a child, okay, like really, and the Lord's gonna just obliterate Esau and these nations. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue they cast out sparks and tempest, right? That's going into the fire. And they were mixed together in blast of fire. Right, out of his mouth is talking about out of the chariots, out of the laser beam of the chariot, it's talking about the chariots shooting laser beams. And they went all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up, every one prepared to fight. Now you see the advanced weaponry, you see the gunships that they weaponized, and the guns they put on it, and the work and time and effort it takes to keep that gunship in the air. And it says, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Right. So the vision made Ezra afraid. Why? Because the look on Yahushai's face was a grim look. All right, because the scripture speaks about him coming back as a travailing woman. So he's coming back with that war cry, and angry and passionate. So he's ready to go to war. All right, so the Lord's coming to go to war. So it's going to be a grim look. You know, the Lord's not. It's not going to be an inviting, warm welcome, but it's going to be a fearsome look. Even the elect is going to be frightened in those days. All right, because the scriptures say what? Make your calling of election sure. All right, so the elect is not sure if they're going to be saved, but they pray they are, you know. So when the Yahushua comes, it's going to be so much death and destruction, like it says in Habakkuk, in destruction, remember mercy, something to this point, you know. So it's going to be a real scary day, dreadful day, but at the same time, it's going to be a day of deliverance for the elect. With that, I want to say all praise, honor, and glory goes to Yahweh, Bashim, Yahushai, Bashim, Kwakadash. Double honor to the apostles, bishops, and elders, great millstone, and salutations to Akim pushing this word, and also saying honestly the whole full elect. Shalom.